Kis nemzetközi kitekintés, ugye mindig nagyon jó látni a hazai állományt, de azért jó, hogyha egy kicsit kitekintünk más országokba is. És hát a következő adás angol nyelven fog elhangzani, és szeretném Bíró Zsoltot, hogy mutassa be a következő előadást.
So Tamir is a Mongolian PhD student in the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences, MATE. She's my PhD student who earlier studied in Mongolia the manul. You can see on the right picture this cat species, and now she came here and tried to study the two cat species together. So she always goes to Mongolia in summer and study the manual, the distribution and habitat use of manual. And anyway, in other times of the year, she studied the European white cat here in Hungary, the distribution and also the habitat use of this species, and also the threatening factors of these two species. And we try to compare the two situations in the very different places of the world. So now Tamir will speak about these two species and the studies of her PhD.
Okay, thank you. Sziasztok, jó reggelt kívánok. That's all I know in Hungarian. So, unfortunately, my presentation will be in English. So this is part of my PhD dissertation, only one part. And the title is Crossing Border of Small Felid Conservation, investigating the distribution of Pallas's cat in Mongolia and the European wild cat in Hungary. So I will show you some preliminary results and also some pictures from camera trap. So the first cat is Pallas's cat, also known as Manolis endemic species in Central Asia. So the population is declining because of habitat loss and fragmentation. Besides, there is some local threat, illegal hunting, illegal trade, killed by herding dogs, poisoning, and lack of prey and stuff. On this picture, you can see the global distribution of Pallas's cat. Mongolia is considered a stronghold to the species, and the largest known population can be found in Mongolia. So this is the distribution of Pallas's cat in Mongolia. This light green is the distribution range, and those black green are terra, which means coniferous forest, and those blue dots are lakes. So except those regions, Pallas's cat can be found throughout Mongolia. Even though the distribution is wide in Mongolia, so we have very limited information about Pallas's cat, like population trend, mortality threats, and so on. Even we didn't study like nationwide distribution of this species. So the second one is European wild cat. I think you know it very well, maybe better than me. Once widely distributed across Europe, but over past 2 centuries, the population declined dramatically due to habitat loss and persecution. So these days, the population is increasing in Central Europe. So there is, two basic extinction risk for this species. One is, as you know, the hybridization between domestic cat and wild cat, and the other one is habitat destruction, which may lead the population into like isolation or population fragmentation. So that's why in this study we chose 2 wild cat, even though those are not same species, in 2 different landscapes. Using the same methods, we tried to assess the current distribution and also to assess the environmental factors, how those environmental factors influence the occurrence of both species using same methods. So My study area in Mongolia is Hussein National Park. This national park initially established for the reintroduced visual skiers, the wild horse. So it's not that high, around 1,500 meters above the sea level, mostly mountains region. So on this picture you can see the natural zone of Mongolia. So maybe you imagine Mongolia is just like endless grassland steppe or something, but we have those different natural zones. So as you can see, the blue is the steppe zone, this orange or purple is semi-desert, and yellow is desert zone. Those are the dominant zones in Mongolia. And our national park is somewhere there, this red point. So it's at the steppe zone of Mongolia. This black star is the capital of Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar. So our study area is around 100 kilometers from the capital. So the general view of national park like this. It's mountainous region, quite rocky areas. So on this picture you can see our study site. This brown line or red line is buffer zone. Those black lines are core zone. And you can see the black triangles are herders' location, who lives there permanently. And those are still nomadic or semi-nomadic, and they move twice per year somewhere along the shore of the river.
Are they noisy?
Sir?
The cats are noisy.
Noisy?
Yeah.
Meow. I don't know. Those are wild.
Interesting observation.
Thank you. Nice question. So to collect the data, we used interview, face-to-face interview. And I visited to every household in National Park and asked questions about Pallas's cat. So when we deal with the questionnaire or interview, there are some rules we have to follow. And the first question is we show 4 different felid species to the herders and ask which one is Pallas's cat. So if she or cannot recognize which one is Pallas's cat, we don't have to ask questions about Pallas's cat. So I usually interview within the herder's household, sometimes out. We just catch them when they are. So especially summer in Mongolia, especially the countryside, is very amazing. And the herders tend to spend the time out instead of yurt, because they just visit to other households and drink kumis, the mare's milk. So that's why we usually start the interview in the early morning. Whereas in Hungary, to collect the wildcat data, it was very easy. We just sent the questionnaire to the game management units through email, and they just respond us. That was so easy. It's like, don't have to visit to our households. So this is also my study area in Mongolia. So you can see the different land cover variables. So this white is steppe. Steppe is dominant in that area, but you can see a small amount of the green is forest. The purple is desert steppe, and also meadow steppe are a small amount of the land cover. So we use those land cover variables, and also we divided the study area into grids based on their home range sites, and also we created a 5-kilometer buffer along the herders' location, which is like the herders know the area in 5 kilometers. So which means they can represent only this area, but this is based on the data from color from goat and sheep. The wildcat, it's similar. We use the similar methods, so don't have to explain it. So to assess the occurrence, the impact on occurrence of goat species, we use the land cover variables. I showed you here those variables on Pallas's cat, and also we use the ruggedness and elevation. So on wildcat, we use the Greenland code variable, like, agricultural area, artificial surface, or water body or water course, and human settlement, and semi or semi-natural forest. So this is not that important, just we use the R to analyze the data, and to create the occurrence map we use the QGIS. In this part I'm going to show you some preliminary results of my study. This is the summary of respondents who participated in our survey in Mongolia. So I interviewed a total of 107 herders, because you can see that most of them are herders, and 80% of them male, and most of them were living there like long years. You can see that more than 20 years they lived there, but actually it's good, because if someone spent more years in that area, he or she can know about the area, like what's going on, what's happening. And that is also called the local ecological knowledge. So we can obtain, especially when we deal with rare or elusive species, we interview with local people. So this is good. And also those respondents were not at all, just like between 30 and 55, most of them. I think it's because the lifespan of Mongolians, so it's not that long. The average age is like 65 something. So this is the distribution of Vadmacska cat in National Park based on the respondent's answer. Blue is detection, gray is non-detection. So you can see the main occurrence can be found in the middle of the national park. And the occurrence of Vadmacska cat was positively associated ruggedness area, which means they appear to prefer rocky area. So, whereas on this slide you can see the respondent summary of for the wildcat in Hungary. So in 2000 we have far more data on wildcat compared to Vadmacska cat. So in 2004 almost 500 respondents answered, and in 2014 355, and 2022 just 205 people answered. And we created the map. This is the distribution of wildcat in Hungary based on the data from game management units. So green is presence, gray is absence. So you can see the main distribution of wildcat in Hungary can be found northern high altitude mountain, Trans-Danubia, and Great Plain. But in 2022, it looks like the population is decreased, but not really. It's just 205 people answered. The ratio of data is uncomparable, but still you can see the main distribution is northeast and the western part of Hungary. So to assess the changes in distribution, we use the exactly same amount of data from same game management units and from same years. So this is exactly same data from each year. So if you notice, the green is increased in 2022. And 2022 showed us a positive trend, which means that the distribution of wildcat in Hungary increased based on our data. And the occurrence of wildcat is positively correlated broadleaf forest and mixed forest, which means they prefer those areas, and we have more chance to see those cats in those areas. So this is one part. So they told me I need to finish in like 30 minutes, but also 20 minutes feel like I speak too fast. So the next section I would like to share some pictures from camera trap. So we set up some cameras in central Mongolia to assess the activity pattern of Vadmacska cat. And the summer of 2022, we found that it's very active then. And there is one female Vadmacska cat with 3 offsprings. And we were so happy, like we found very active and friendly like this. But unfortunately, when I checked the next autumn, they just disappeared. I don't know, they just moved to somewhere. And the last summer I also checked it, but the then was passing. So, and I also suppose that this can be active than a Palace's cat. So this is quite rocky area, just let's say this is then. And this one, I don't know which is, this one is male or female. Just come here and, you know, scratching their face and just left this way. And this guy come back after like 5 or 6 hours and did the exactly same action. Scratching face there and left this way, just like he or she left before. And it was actually not only for Palace's cat, so we have other guests, so there is, I don't know they are in pair or no, just they chilled here like 6 minutes. So, aren't they good? So they were like my model, and they left after 6 minutes. And we have other guests as well. Red fox. So it's raining and also sleeping exactly that place that Palace's cat was doing something. This is winter in Mongolia, so it's also grey wolf and wapiti, and also someone's private moment. Steph polecat and marten, and some resident or migratory birds. This is one of the resident falcons in Mongolia, common kestrel or something, and those are migratory birds. But this area is not good for migratory birds because there isn't much water. And of course livestock. So yeah, those areas rich in livestock, like one household at least 500 livestock, goat, sheep, cow, horses. And this is actually just west of SD card, you know. Till they disappeared, just the camera captures pictures non-stop. So, but we can't do anything because somehow those livestock and wild animals range is overlapping. So yeah, I finished in like 20 minutes, so thank you so much. This was for today.
Okay. Anything? If you some questions?
Yes. Yes, I just, you mentioned if they found that to get European, but if they found it was easy to get by the email questionnaire, and I was just wondering about the target room for that questionnaire. And could you send that?
Gun management unit.
Sorry?
Gun management unit.
Team management. So it was this sort of the same target pool for all those years.
Yes.
Really.
You have questions? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you very much.